Dr. Corsi, we're letting everybody know that you and I will be starting another episode of Dr. Corsi's Prescription for America in just 30 minutes. How are you today, Doctor?
I'm great. It's a good day to do it. We've got all this news of Nancy Pelosi today deciding that she's going to go ahead and impeach Donald Trump. So that's the big news of the day, and it's dominated the news cycle. And it gives us a lot to talk about because I think Nancy Pelosi's just gone completely off her rocker, and the Democrats seem 100% in control of the socialist Marxist wing of the Democratic Party, which is a sure losing strategy.
Yeah, and I think that a lot of the people who feel like the Democrats are speaking to them and would call you or I conspiracy theorists, they tune out when we say something like that, Marxist and all that. But it's actually true, isn't it, Doctor?
It is. I mean, what do you want to call it? I mean, you've got Warren, Elizabeth Warren out there campaigning. She's got free this, free everything. You know, everything's going to be free. You get college, you get all the insurance you want for health, you get all the care you want for health, you get educated, you get all kinds of things, all free. Government's going to do everything for you.
Even if you
That's
don't
communism.
live here.
That's socialism. Even if you don't live here, open borders. We don't need any. We don't need any stinking borders. We don't need any stinking walls. You know, we're going to have all the genders. There's going to be 7 million genders. I guess there's how many? To 14 billion people. There's all these different. Anybody can be whatever gender they want. Pick a gender of the month. This is the crazy world, and the left of the Democratic Party, call it whatever you want to call it, loony, Marxist. They are Marxist. They don't want to be called that because they want to control the language. They control the mainstream media. They
Right.
control the social media. They control the bureaucracy. They control the universities. And the only thing they don't control is the American people. And that's why you're getting to have with the impeachment, you know, they've decided now to go boldly into the fires of hell, impeaching a president with no evidence,
Right.
and with no crime. You know, but we don't need no stinking crimes. We don't need no stinking evidence. We know Donald Trump is a crook because, well, how do you know it? Well, we know that he meant to say, and then Schiff makes up the telephone call with Zelensky, which didn't happen. But it doesn't matter that it didn't happen. It looks like Nadler is even going to, in the articles of impeachment, go back to the Mueller report and pull out the part about obstruction of justice. Well, the obstruction of justice, there was no basis for the Attorney General Barr to bring any criminal charges, but it doesn't matter because this is propaganda.
Yeah.
And it's ideology, it's religion. You know, it doesn't matter that there was no crime. We just didn't look hard enough. We know Donald Trump was colluding with Russia. We just didn't find it because we didn't look hard enough. If we keep looking, we'll find it.
Yeah.
That's the thinking. That's the mentality.
And you know, Doctor, we've got Linda T with us in the comments. She's saying that her heart is troubled today, and that's so well said because, you know, I literally felt that. I couldn't explain it when I was watching Nancy Pelosi's speech. It was really making me angry because it's like we've got an enemy of the Constitution, an enemy of the people of the United States is third in line for the presidency. And I want to say something not in a disparaging way. As I was watching Nancy Pelosi deliver her speech today, I was noticing certain things about the whole setup of it. And she was being photographed with an unusual type of camera compared to what they normally use for these press conferences. It was like a cinema camera, and I say that because it was very sharp on Nancy Pelosi, but very soft and blurry in the background. I noticed it right away as she walked up to her podium there. And this is a technique that's used in cinematography. A lens is selected that has what's called an attractive bokeh or bouquet. There's argument as to how it's called, but you can see it here, Doctor. It's basically this extremely blurry background that emphasizes the subject and is considered a more flattering and beautiful type of shot. This is not the type of image that you can make with a traditional television news camera. Some special type of cinema camera with a large format image sensor was selected to be able to do this. And the most notable thing about it is this type of photograph also indicates pretty low level of light. The lens has to be very opened up to create this type of image.
Jason.
Yeah.
Hey, Jason, I don't care.
But the important part, Doctor, that I'm getting to.
She looks like she. Yeah, they're doing theatrics to make her look good. I understand your point.
There's not that much light, but her pupils are so dilated. I seriously believe Nancy Pelosi is medicated.
I don't know if she's medicated or not. I think she's just nuts. I don't have any clue what she's medicated with or not. Yes, they're trying to make her look good. She's wearing, we could go criticize everything about her. But the point is that I'm saying, and I think this is from the political point of view, that what's really relevant here is if there were going to be a group of people that were going to go nuts and were going to engage in sedition, and this is sedition now. This is the attempt to remove a president who's duly elected president from office 11 months before an election. They don't think they can win the election with what the candidates are. This is desperation. But the point is, I'd rather have it be Nancy Pelosi. I'd rather have it be Schiff. I'd rather have it be Nadler. These are extremely unattractive people, not from how they look physically, but from their mental attitude, from their defiance of due process, from their, you listen to these people, the three law professors who spoke, they were like the State Department people who spoke in front of Schiff. It was absolutely clear these are highly opinionated people who detest Donald Trump, and they detest Donald Trump for ideological reasons. Donald Trump is not on their globalist agenda. These people want open borders. They have an LGBT agenda. They want abortions. They want all the things that these leftists want ideologically. They think there's climate change. And, this woman who is actually testifying, you've got a picture of her up there, she's on Hillary Clinton's short list to be on the Supreme Court. And with her anger, which just bubbles over, the professor from Harvard has written a book in support of Sharia law, which is these are people who ideologically are so distinct and different from the American people that I'm happy they're putting themselves on display. Because I think my view of it is that, going back into the 1950s, I did an ebook on this. Dr. Corsi investigates why the Democratic Party has gone communist. These people have decided, going back to the 50s, the communists were going to take over the Democratic Party. They were going to do it on a welfare state, and we would gradually, in an incremental way, become communist and socialist in our ideas without ever recognizing that we had done so. And when the face of that was the Lyndon Johnson with the Great Society and all the others, it looked benign. With these people, they should have waited another 20 years until people like me, the baby boomers, who were educated in the American Constitution, who know American history, who understand the values of this country and believe in God, till we were dead. Then they'd have the millennials who they've indoctrinated in the college into this LGBT mentality, and they could have easily taken over. But the Nancy Pelosi's and the others, I think Nancy is politically more astute than this, but I think her choice was she's going to lose the House Speaker in her caucus if she doesn't let these extreme radicals have their way. It's the same dynamic that's going to play out in the primaries. The radicals in the party vote, the more activists vote in the primaries. So I don't care how many billions Bloomberg has or wants to spend. I think his ceiling is about 6% of the electorate, because that's about all that's going to go for him. Joe Biden, despite all of the creepy things that he continues to do, despite the fact that he looks mentally deficient. This is a party that wants to bring back Hillary. She's lost twice. She's so ravingly insane at this point. I think if you put her in a sanatorium that had a mock Oval Office in it, she'd think she was president. She'd begin acting as president in the sanatorium. It reminds me of One Flew Over the Cuckoo Nest. Well,
Yeah.
I'd rather have the socialists be the ones who flew over the cuckoo nest and have them out front showing the American people who they are and what they stand for, because the average American is going to say today, these people are nuts, and they're going to be angry that Donald Trump is going to be dragged through this. The next point I want to make, and I appreciate, I don't mean to demean or downplay but people say, well, you're just how she looks and all the rest of it. I don't want to criticize Nancy Pelosi and how she looks. I know the theatrics, I know what they're doing, and I don't know whether her pupils are dilated or she's on drugs or not. But that's not the line I want to attack her on. I want to attack her straightforward on that this is ideologically driven. It's a religion now. You can't disprove it. They don't need a crime. They don't need evidence. The articles of impeachment are going to be reinventing the Mueller report, which Barr has already rejected. There's no crime there in the obstruction charges. The American people are not persuaded, even after 2 weeks of listening to Schiff's State Department people. It's all hearsay. Only Sondland in that testimony is going to be able to be admissible if this were a trial, and it's going to be a trial in the Senate. These socialists, whatever you want to call them, I think they're Marxists. I don't care if anybody likes it or doesn't like it. That's what they're reinventing the Mueller report.
Whoops, sorry.
And what they're doing is they're going through a process that is like a Stalin trial, in which you don't have due process, and they're doing that intentionally. And when it gets to the Senate, it's going to be very different, because the Senate is going to be run by the GOP.
Well, this is the part that's so upsetting for me, at least, Doctor, is that it's clearly an un-American process, and it's happening in Congress that's supposed to represent the people of the United States. And on a personal level, when I speak to friends of mine who think that it's okay, it's literally making me angry. And I think that's what Lisa was getting to when she said that her heart hurts. Is all this sort of, we've spent a lot of time saying, oh, if this happens, if that happens, the country's going to go down the drain. But I feel like we're down the drain. We need to climb back up out of the drain. We can't have this happening in Congress.
Well, we are in a civil war. We are in a civil war. And, basically the civil war is going to play out.
Yeah.
I want to...
Well, in just about 15 minutes, Doctor, we're going to be starting our sponsor-exclusive program, Dr. Corsi's Prescription for America. People will be able to join us if they're already sponsors, or they can become sponsors by going to patreon.com/Jerome Corsi, patreon.com/crowdsourcethetruth, or subscribestar.com/crowdsourcethetruth. And Doctor, if you'll be able, one thing I think people might really appreciate is if we can discuss some of the details along the lines of processes that Adam Schiff has just changed. I mean, it seems to me, if you want to impeach a president, that there should be rules, and if there's any question, there should be a process for going to the Congress, having a vote. It seems like Adam Schiff changed the committee. He had the Intelligence Committee start the impeachment, which I understood from you and Charles and other people that it's supposed to be the Judiciary Committee. You've just made a comment about Sondland being the only admissible testimony. If I understood you correctly, you mean he's the only one who would even qualify as a viable witness, because he's the only actual witness. They're changing the rules of impeachment. They're changing the law, and they've convinced everyone that it's okay because this isn't a legal process, it's a political process. Hopefully we can address some of those questions.
We will, and look, we're going to be able to show, we're going to be able to show that, in fact, when it gets to the Senate, it's going to be, it's going to be very different, and the whole process there is going to be controlled by the GOP. The GOP is going to control it, and Donald Trump is going to be able to put Biden on trial. He's going to be able to put Schiff on trial. Also, remember, we're going to have the Horowitz report next week, which is going to, even if Horowitz tries to modify it, he's Inspector General, he's going to have a lot of damaging evidence and conclusions there. And Durham has already announced he's got a criminal process. That means there's going to be indictments. You don't have a criminal process and not have indictments. So that's, I think, what we're seeing is that, in fact, the Democrats might be trying to have impeachment to jump the shark, as it were, to make Donald Trump be the one who's going to be removed from office, when, in fact, the wheels are grinding here of justice slowly but finally. And I think the Democrats and these deep state traitors are going to be called to justice. In my book, Coup d'etat is going to bring that forward at the beginning of the year. And that's the real story here. The trial in the Senate is a no starter. It's not going to go anywhere. Donald Trump is not going to be removed from office, but we have an attempt here to kill the coup because they started it too soon. And rule number one, if you're going to try to do a coup d'etat, is you better get the leader. You better kill the king if you're going to try a regicide. And if you don't, the king's coming back at you. And that's what's happening here. The Democrats jumped the shark by doing this at the wrong time, the wrong way, and it's going to be attacking on their own position. The loser here is Biden. The second loser is the Democratic Party. The third loser is the Democratic Party presidential candidates. The Democratic Party of John Kennedy is now dead, R.I.P.
Yeah.
This is a Democratic Socialist Party, and we are in a civil war. These are the people, if they want to push us into the gulags, they're going to have a hard time with all the Americans. They didn't take our guns away first. They fly over the country. They can have all the homeless in L.A. They can have de Blasio in New York and go bankrupt, and Trump isn't going to bail them out. Okay, so the reality here is, I think they're going to lose. Yeah. And I am today happy that they made this stupid political blunder in their insane ideological fervor of hatred of Trump, that in fact they're going to destroy themselves. This today, what Nancy Pelosi did, and screaming at the reporter about how she's a good Catholic when she's happy to kill all the babies in the world. Abortion's just fine with her. I don't see how that makes her a good Catholic. Of course, I'm not sure I understand the Pope either today, but that's another issue. The point is, the Democrats are going to lose, and they're going to lose big. They now become a minority party. They've chased out all the moderates in the party who were going to vote for the Democrats. And in fact, what they've done is they've now created a void where the 31 who members of the House who won in 2018 in red districts are all, their careers are finished. Yeah. Okay, they're done.
I certainly
and Nancy
hope...
Pelosi, to save her speakership for a little bit of time here from being taken away from her by the AOCs at their party, which is the controlling force in the party right now. It's not Bloomberg. Take all his billions, it's not going to help him. It's AOC. And they're going to lose the House, they're going to lose the Senate, and they're going to lose the presidency in about 11 months.
I think you're right, Doctor. And we're just a few minutes away from transitioning over to our sponsor-exclusive show on patreon.com/Jerome Corsi and patreon.com/Crowdsource the Truth. Before we go, Doctor, a lot of people in the comments are agreeing with you and having a positive reaction to your statement that the Democrats have jumped the shark. It's actually a very appropriate statement. I don't know if you know this, but that term actually came from the Howard Stern radio show. And ironically, Hillary Clinton was on there yesterday. I couldn't believe it. I'm never listening to Howard Stern again. But a lot of people are speculating that Hillary Clinton did this in part as a precursor to her very likely announcement that she's going to run or limp for president.
Well, Hillary can come on back in if she wants, because she's going to lose. And that's, again, she's so delusional. I've talked to some of her top advisors, and they think she is nuttier than a fruitcake.
Wow.
And she's not mentally stable. Now, if they want to run her, we've beaten her twice. Okay, and I'm saying, come on, Hillary. Let's go with the Clinton Foundation again. We've now got the basis to do it. If Hillary Clinton wants to risk that she might end up spending the rest of her life in prison because she decided to run and put this all back on the agenda, fine, I'm happy to go at it again. sounds good to me. Let's go. Let's duke it out, Hillary.
People
Come on.
I've
Clinton
heard
Foundation,
comment.
Biden,
Yeah.
Biden, Clinton Foundation, all the money you stole, Haiti, all those people you stole that money from for the hurricane. Come on, Hillary.
Yeah.
And how about all your advisors, Doug Schoen and all the rest? A guy named Pinchuk, the oligarch who paid you money in 2016 from Ukraine. Let's get him in here.
I agree with you, Doctor. Well, we're just about out of time, so I want to make sure everybody has the appropriate time to join us over on Patreon. You are absolutely shot out of a cannon today, Doctor, so I think everybody is going to be excited to hear the details of what you have to tell us about this unconstitutional process that's being invented on the fly by Adam Schiff and Nancy Pelosi. So we'll see everybody in just 10 minutes on patreon.com/Jerome Corsi and patreon.com/crowdsourcethetruth or subscribestar.com/crowdsourcethetruth. Thanks for watching, everybody. We'll see you on Patreon.
Okay, great. Thank you.